Configure DHCP V6. Okay, DHCP on IPv6. Build this topology. Okay, use Cisco 4221 two routers and switch 2960. Okay, routers Cisco. I will use 4321 for R1 and R2. Switch S2960 for S1, for S2, and PCA, PC-A, PC-B, and connect them according to the topology. Gigabit 000 and gigabit 000 between R1 and R2. Gigabit 001 on R1 to fast Ethernet 5 on S1, fast Ethernet 6 to PC, gigabit 001 to fast Ethernet 5, and fast Ethernet 18 to PCB. Okay, this is the addressing table for IPv6. Okay, this is the network for gigabit 000 on R1. Okay, I will use labels. Okay, this is the network number 2. This is network number 1. This is number 3. And on this side, this is number 1. Okay, number 1 on this side. But on the another side of gigabit 00 on R2 is number 2. Okay. The another side, gigabit 000 on R2 is number 2. Okay. This is number 1 for R1, gigabit 001, and also for gigabit 001 on R2. The dynamic assignment of IPv6 global unicast addresses can be configured the following 3 ways: stateless address auto-configuration, SLAC, stateless dynamic host configuration protocol for IPv6, DHCP V6, and stateful DHCP V6. When using a SLAC to assign IPv6 addresses to host, a DHCP V6 server is not used. Because a DHCP V6 server is not used when implementing SLAC, hosts are unable to receive additional critical network information, including a domain name server DNS address as well as the domain name. When using a stateless DHCP V6 to assign IPv6 addresses to hosts, a DHCP V6 server is used to assign the additional critical network information. However, the IPv6 address is assigned using a SLAC. When implementing a stateful DHCPv6, a DHCPv6 server assigns all network information, including the IPv6 address. The determination of how hosts obtain the dynamic IPv6 addressing is dependent on flag settings contained within the router advertisement RA messages. Required resources on real app to router Cisco 4221. I'm using in this case Cisco 4321. Two switches 2960, 2960. Two PCs, console cables, Ethernet cables. Build the network ready, cable the network ready. Configure basic settings for each switch. Okay. These basic configurations were made in another labs, in previous labs, so I will only configure the host name. Okay, so that's why it's optional. And configure basic settings for each router. Also, these configurations were made in another previous labs, so I will only configure the host name. Configure interfaces and routing for both routers. Configure the gigabit 000 and gigabit 001 interfaces on R1 and R2 with the IPv6 addresses specified in the table above. Okay, use the addressing table, configure R1 and R2. Go to R1. Command line interface, no. Okay, would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? No, enter and enable configure terminal and host name. This is R1. Okay, go to interface gigabit 000 and configure according the addressing table the global unicast address and link local. IPv6 address 2001 DBA ACAD 2:1 prefix 64. Okay. IPv6 link local FE80:1 link local and not shut down to enable the interface. Okay, this interface gigabit 000 and gigabit 001 IPv6 address is 111:1, same link local address, no shutdown. And don't forget that enable on basic settings, enable IPv6 routing. Okay? Don't forget that. So it's necessary IPv6 unicast routing. Very good. Now configure R2. Command line interface. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? No. Enter enable configure terminal. Host name. This is R2. Interface gigabit 000. IPv6 address 2001 DBA ACAD 2:2 prefix 64. Okay, link local IPv6 address FE80:2 link local. Okay, no shutdown. And go to interface gigabit 001. The IPv6 address is 3:1. Okay, according the addressing table. And link local address is IPv6 address FE80:1 link local. Okay, and enable the interface no shutdown. Exit, and don't forget to enable IPv6 unicast routing. Very good. Configure a default route on each router pointed to the IP address of gigabit 000 on the other router. Okay, for example, on R1, go to R1, click and enter IPv6 route, the default route, okay, and point to the next hop is this 2. Okay, on R2, gigabit 000 is number 2. So is 2001 DB8 ACAD 2 : 2. Okay, enter. And go to R2, IPv6 route, : 0 2001 DB8 ACAD 2 : is 1, the next hop, okay, the another side, 2 : 1, okay, on R2, 2 : 1. Very good. Verify routing is working by pinning R2 gigabit 001 address from R1. Okay, so from R1, ping gigabit 0001 on R2. Go to R1 and ping 2001 DB8 ACAD 3 : 1. Okay, and success. Okay, very good. And verify a Slack address assignment from R1. You will verify that host PCA receives an IPv6 address using the Slack method. PCA will receive IPv6 address using Slack. Okay. Power PCA up and ensure that network interface card is configured for IPv6 automatic configuration. After a few moments, the result of the command ipconfig should show that PCA has assigned itself an address from the 2001 DB8 1 : prefix 64 network. Okay, this should be 2001 DB8 ACAD : 1 prefix 64 network. Okay, because it's this network 2001 DB8 ACAD 1 : prefix 64. Okay, and it should be this. Okay, this. Okay, and go to PCA and go to desktop on packet tracer, IP configuration, and change to automatic on IPv6. And you got this IPv6 address on 2001 DB8 ACAD 1. So that is very good, prefix 64. Also on command prompt, you can use ipconfig. And ipconfig will show the IPv6 address 2001 DB8 ACAD 1. This is the subnet, then the network, and this is the host ID. Okay, this is the host ID, but this is the subnet. Okay, very nice. The default gateway automatically is the link local address on gigabit 001 on R1. Okay, and also you can see here the default FE80 : 1, the link local address of gigabit 001 on R1. Where did the host ID portion of the address come from? Okay, this is the host ID portion. Okay, on PCA, this is the host ID portion. Okay, you can do the following: ipconfig/all /all, and you can see this. Look at this host ID portion. Okay, this is the subnet portion, but this is the host ID portion, and look at this. It's very similar to the MAC address of the PC. So the host ID portion is based on the physical address, based on the MAC address of the PC. So where did the host ID portion of the address come from? Either the host generates an EUI64 address based on the MAC address of the interface, or the host generates a random 64 bits address. Configure and verify the DHCP V6 server on R1. You will configure and verify a stateless DHCP server on R1. The objective is to provide PCA with DNS server and domain information. Examine the configuration of PCA in more detail. ipconfig /all, ipconfig /all on PCA. Okay, enter space, and you don't have DNS server. You have the IPv6 address, link local, the phone gateway, but you don't have DNS. Okay, no DNS suffix or no DNS domain, no DNS suffix, no DNS domain, no specific DNS server. Notice that there is no primary DNS suffix. Also note that the DNS server address provided are site local anycast addresses and not unicast addresses as would be expected. Okay, these are site local anycast addresses. Configure R1 to provide a stateless DHCP V6 for PCA. Create an IPv6 DHCP pool on R1. Name it R1-stateless. As part of that pool, assign the DNS server address to 001 DBA ACAD:1 and the domain name is stateless.com. Okay, configure this on R1. It's very simple. Go to global configuration mode with configure terminal and IPv6 DHCP pool R1 stateless. Okay, this is the name of the pool, R1 stateless. Okay, sensitive. Okay, set the DNS server, DNS-server 2001 DBA ACAD:254. Okay, should be 254. Okay, 201 DBA ACAD:254. Okay, this enter and set the domain dash name stateless.com. Enter. Very good. Then exit. Okay, once you configure the pool, apply on the interface. Configure gigabit 001 interface on R1 to provide the other config flag to the R1 LAN and specify the DHCP pool you just created as the DHCP resource for this interface. Okay, on this interface connected to the local area network to the LAN, connected to the LAN, assign the pool. Okay, and go to R1, interface gigabit 001, IPv6, network discovery, and the other -config -flag. Okay, this is the configuration for DHCP stateless. Okay, stateless DHCP server and IPv6 DHCP server, and the server is the pool. Use the same name R1 stateless. Enter. Exit. Okay, and now save the running configuration on the router. It's not necessary, but do it on real app. Okay, and restart PCA. Okay, you can do the following. You can change from a static to automatic again. Change to a static. Okay, very good, and change to automatic. And now you got IPv6, link local, default gateway, and DNS server. Very nice. Okay, on the example, you had the suffix, the domain, the IPv6 address, default gateway, DNS server, and suffix. Okay, IPv6, default gateway, DNS, and another way, you know, use the command ipconfig /all. Enter. Suffix stateless.com. Link local IPv6 address. Very nice. Default gateway, the link local on R1. Default gateway, the link local address of gigabit 001 on R1. And the DNS server. 254, very nice. Test connectivity by pinning R2 gigabit 001 interface IP address. Okay, from PCA, ping gigabit 001 on R2. Okay, go to PCA, ping 2001 DBA ACAD 3::1. Okay, very nice, success. Now configure a stateful DHCP server on R1. You will configure R1 to respond to the DHCP request from the LAN on R2. Create a DHCP pool on R1 for the 2001 DBA ACAD3 AAAA network. This will provide addresses to the LAN connected to the interface gigabit 001 on R2. As a part of the pool, set the DNS server to 2001 DBA ACAD 254 and set the domain name to stateful.com. Okay, you will not create on R2. Okay, the DHCP server is for this LAN, for subnet 2001 DBA ACAD 3, for number 3, but you will not create on R2, you will create the server on R1. Okay, and create the pool on R1. IPv6 DHCP pool R2. This is only a name, R2-stateful. Okay, stateful, enter. And address prefix, on stateful you can specify the IPv6 addresses. So the address prefix is, in this case, 2001 DBA ACAD 3:AAA: prefix 8. So you are specifying a range of interfaces for PCB or any PC in this network. Okay, and go to R1, enter. Set the DNS server 2001 DBA ACAD: 254. Enter. Very nice. And the domain-name is stateful.com. Enter. Exit. And obviously, assign DHCP V6 pool you just created to interface gigabit 000 on R1. Assign the pool to this interface to gigabit 000 because it's on the side of the local area network. Okay, on this side gigabit 000. So R2 can ask on this interface gigabit 000. So go to R1, interface gigabit 000, IPv6 DHCP server R2-stateful. Okay. So you assign it the DHCP pool on this interface. Very nice. Exit. And configure and verify DHCP V6 relay on R2. You will configure and verify DHCP V6 relay on R2, allowing PCB to receive an IPv6 address. Okay, but first, power on PCB and examine the SLAC address that it generates. Okay, go to PCB and to get the SLAC configuration, go to desktop and change to automatic. Okay, on real PC, on PC on lab, on laboratory, the automatic is by default. On Packet Tracer, you need to change from static to automatic, and you got the SLAC configuration. Obviously, in SLAC, you don't have the DNS, but you have the IPv6 and the default gateway that also you can ipconfig space/all. Also you can verify here IPv6 address. Okay, the IPv6 address, default gateway, no DNS, no suffix or domain. Very good. Okay, no suffix in the example, IPv6 address, yes. Default gateway, yes. DNS servers are anycast, not global unicast. Okay. Notice in the output that prefix used is 2001 DBA AC83. Okay, is belongs to this network number 3. Number 3. Okay, go to PCB. Now you can see 2001 DBA AC83. This is very important. Okay, number 3. Very good. And now configure R2 as the DHCP relay agent for the LAN on gigabit 001. Okay, so if the server is configured on R1 and is not configured on R2, R2 should request the configurations from R1. So R2 should be the relay DHCP. So configure R2 as the relay. Configure the IPv6 DHCP relay command on R2 interface gigabit 001. How you connect to R1? So R1 is the server. How you connect to R1? Using gigabit 000. And the request from PCB will be received on gigabit 001 on R2. Okay, very nice. And specifying the destination address of the gigabit 00 interface on R1, and also configure the managed config flag command. Okay, on R2 configure this, go to R2. Enter enable configure terminal, global configuration mode, and interface gigabit 001. Okay, configure this interface gigabit 001. Okay, you will get the request of PCB on gigabit 001 and IPv6 neighbor discovery and managed config -flag. Okay, enter, and now the relay IPv6 DHCP relay, the destination, and who is the server? R1. How you connect R1? Using the gigabit 000 address on R1. You are on R2 and you need to connect the IP address of gigabit 000 on R1. And what is the IP address of gigabit 00 on R1? Is 1, number 1. Okay, so is 2001 DBA ACAD 2::1. Okay, 2::1. And what is my local interface? On R2, my local interface is gigabit 000. My local interface gigabit 000. Enter. Okay, Bucket Racer does not support the relay configuration. Okay, IPv6, DHCP, question mark, and you don't have the option for relay. Okay, but anyway, you can configure the pool configured, the stateful pool configured on R1, you can configure on R2. Okay, and configure this on R2. Go to R2 and exit IPv6 DHCP pool R2 stateful. Enter the address prefix 2001 DBA ACAD 3 :AAA : prefix 80. Okay, this is the range of available IP addresses on the DHCP stateful server and DNS server, DNS-server 2001 DB8 ACAD colon 254. The domain name is stateful.com. Enter exit and go to gigabit 001 and configure this. Assign the DHCP pool and assign the flag, but on gigabit 001. Okay, so because gigabit 001 is connected to the local area network. Okay, and interface gigabit 001. First, assign the flag IPv6 network discovery managed config flag. Okay, this is the configuration for a stateful managed config flag, and assign the pool. This pool previously created R2-stateful IPv6 DHCP server R2 stateful. Enter. Okay, and exit and go to PCB. Now you got automatically the IPv6, the default gateway DNS, but obviously repeat the command ipconfig /all. You got the suffix stateful.com, the address, and look at is in the range 2001 DBA ACAD 3, very good, 3 because it's in subnet 3, and AAA because was specified on the pool AAA. Very nice. And the default gateway is the IPv6 link local address of gigabit 001 on R2. DNS server, very good. Very good. Okay, in the example, the domain IPv6 3 column 3 AAA. Okay, DNS and the default gateway. Test connectivity by pinning R1's gigabit 001 interface IP address. Okay, and from PCB, ping gigabit 001 address on R1. Okay, is 1::1. From PCB, ping 2001 DBA ACAD 1::1. Success. And also you can ping from PCB to PCA. What is the IP address of PCA? Copy the IP address of PCA is this. I will copy with this very long. Okay, and go to PCB, ping space and paste, enter. Success. Very nice, my friends. Thank you very much.